We are almost done with the Ruth, just a couple more devotions, but today we are sitting in chapter 4. We're going to be going through verses 14 through 16. And if you remember where we left off, we have Boaz has just redeemed Ruth. She is his. The elders of the city gates are celebrating the fact that Ruth is going to be an Israelite. She is going to be adopted into the Israelite nation. But what about Naomi? Naomi was just a part of the story just as much as Ruth. Well, here we sit in verse 14, and it says, "The women of the town said to Naomi, 'Blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer today, and may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be to you one who restores life and sustains your old age for your daughter-in-law who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons has given birth to him.'" They are celebrating the fact that Ruth has had a baby boy. Now, I want to sit here for a minute because although this is a huge thing to celebrate, we also have to understand that Naomi had 2 sons. She had a husband. She is sitting there and they are still not there. So sometimes we often look at this and we look at the pain in life and then we feel bad when we celebrate the good things. Because we feel like we're letting go and we're letting down the people, or maybe forgetting the people who have left us in this life. But I want to sit here for 1 second and just sit on the thought that what if our loss on earth is not God's loss? Let me explain what I mean by that. When a loved one goes to heaven, when we lose somebody who loves the Lord, they are immediately with God. It is our loss on earth, but it is not God's loss. In fact, he gained something in that moment by gaining that loved one by his side. Oftentimes, our life feels so long as we go through the sadness and the grief. But what if the scriptures are true and our life is simply as fast as a wave upon the shore, and momentarily we will be with that loved one for eternity? That perhaps their even time in heaven will seem like nothing, and it will be as if we are there instantly with them. We don't know, but you know what? It makes me think that they will not be missing us, because within just a heartbeat, we will be there with them. Our loss on earth is a loss. We do go through pain, but it is not God's loss. He looks at that as having these people with him as something amazing and phenomenal for his kids. So nobody could bring back Naomi's 2 sons and her husband, but here she sat, even in the midst of all of that pain. She sits with a grandson, with a daughter who has married somebody prominent in the community, and she sits herself restored, redeemed, and rebirthed and her own nature. This is Naomi, the one who walked in the town and said, "Call me Mara. I am so bitter with God." And I think there's a beautiful lesson to be learned here, that oftentimes we can be bitter with God. Perhaps you never have been bitter with God, but I have found myself through all of my seasons of walking with the Lord, I've had some moments where I just don't understand what God is doing. And yes, I could be developing bitterness towards him. But when we look at that and we allow God to transform our heart, he doesn't look at us and go, "Seriously, you don't trust me?" and just say, "I'm done with you." No, he keeps pursuing us. And we see that even though Naomi had a bad attitude, through half of this story, she is still sitting herself in the same restoration and the same redemption that Ruth has experienced. I often think of it like the back of a tapestry. If you've ever seen the back of a tapestry, it is just strings going everywhere. It looks like pure chaos. There's nothing beautiful about the back of a tapestry. However, if you turn the tapestry over once it's completed, then all of a sudden you see something beautiful. You see the image that has been carefully woven by the Creator. And our lives are often like a tapestry. We only see the back of the tapestry. We only see the chaos of the strings and the colors and the pain and the hurt, but yet the joyous moments. And it looks like pure chaos. We have no idea what the Creator is doing. But I promise if you surrender over to the Creator, that when your life has come to an end or close to the end, like we see here with Naomi, that sometimes you look back and all of a sudden you say, wow, that hurt in those areas, but I see God's restoration. I see God's redemption. I see how He has taken those hard areas and He's made them something beautiful. God is the ultimate artist, the ultimate creator of our stories. Do we trust Him even in the pain? Because I think we can sit here like Naomi in verse 16 when it says, "Then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became his nurse." Nurse, that Hebrew word is to support, uphold, to nourish. She is taking on this young boy as if he was her own. This is a fresh, new beginning for her. Even in her own bitterness, God did not turn His back on her. In fact, throughout this whole story, He is pursuing her. But there is something special about this baby that even Naomi doesn't know. God put a little cherry on top with this baby. But that's for our next devotion. Today, I hope you know that even if you have sat in bitterness, anger towards God, that He is still pursuing you. Even if you're in the midst of some really hard times in life and have lost people, that God is still writing your story, that tapestry may look chaotic, but it will become something beautiful as we continually surrender over to Him. We love you guys, and we'll see you next on our next devotion as we almost wrap up Ruth.